My pants started to go down. I just want to bring up the socks a little bit.
Right.
We're back with the Queen herself, Queen Latifah. She's talking with us about her involvement in the American Heart Association's Rise Above Heart Failure initiative. We're so glad that you're here. You know, you mentioned about your mom, and how, how did you receive the news that she was, in dire straits?
Oh, boy. I mean, my mom is an art teacher. She was an art teacher, and she just, she passed out in class. Wow. And she was rushed to the hospital. And that's the only reason I, knew something was really going on.
Sure.
So after all these tests, the doctor said, you have congestive heart failure. And we were like devastated. Like, what do you mean? It was such a shock because, my mom has always been, but, she's never smoked, never drank, never been really overweight, nothing out of the ordinary for her. And just all of a sudden this. So it was a bit shocking, but once we wrapped our minds around what he said, it was like, okay, so what does that mean? What do we do?
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? And there was a lot of places to go from there. Luckily, I mean, there was definitely medicine. There was lifestyle changes that we could make, and that made us feel more empowered because we felt helpless at first. I felt completely helpless.
Yeah.
But that definitely gave us hope, and it started, and it worked. So we started to make those changes.
How is she doing today?
Mom is good. She's good. I mean, this is always, it is heart failure, and it's something that lives with her. So it's something we always have to manage, something we always have to keep up with, but it's been managed. We've been able to manage it, and and live life, So the fear, the shock, and all that happened back then is not there
and
anymore.
Quality of life is
exactly.
Yes.
Very important.
And also the fact that you're lending your voice to this and you're making people aware of it, it's very important.
Right.
We have a clip of you and your mom, Rita, reminding people why this is so important. Take a look.
My mom is stronger than anyone I've ever known. Growing up when life got hard, her strength helped pull us through. Even after her heart failure diagnosis, she remains stronger than ever.
My family's support keeps me strong. Together, we're rising above heart failure.
Heart failure doesn't have to steal your strength. For simple steps you can take to help prevent, improve, or manage heart failure, go to riseabovehf.org.
That's that mama. Love that mama.
I have to, first of all, applaud you because there's so many times celebrity come, they're like, I don't need to be the role model. Don't look up to me. But you accept that and say, you know what, let me do something with that. And that's so important because this is a cause that needs to have awareness brought to it.
Well, I went from the place of I don't want to be a role model. I'm so not perfect to I can do something with this. And once you find that, then you really feel good about the fact that you're blessed to be in a position to do that. So, I mean, this whole thing came about because of my mother and the fact that she, as a teacher, she still, even through this illness, wants to give back. She wants to share her story. She wants to help other people. So, when I brought this idea to her that had come to me with the American Heart Association, with Novartis, with this whole Rise Above Heart Failure movement, I said, Mom, do you want to talk about this? Is this something that you want to do? This is all about you. If you don't want to go there, we won't go there. And my mother is like, no, we want to let other people know, because if I had known what to look for, maybe I would have been able to prevent this. So other people should get to know. And I just think that I just love her so much for that.
But it's almost in her genetic makeup. She's
Yeah,
a
it
teacher.
is. Yeah,
Let's
it
teach.
is.
Exactly,
Let's educate.
exactly.
Yeah.
And she, like you said, you wouldn't be the woman you are if it was not for your mother. She has been your rock, and now you are her rock.
I am.
You know?
You get to be the rock.
Exactly. But you grew up. You didn't grow up. You spent some time in the projects. You and your brother did with your mom. You spent some time there, and your mom said to you some very poignant words that stuck with you. She said, "You're not of the projects."
Yeah, you're in the projects, but you're not of the projects. Like this was a place. My mom always. My parents always tried to move from a better place to a better place to a better place. And for a period of time, we fell on hard times and we had to live in this housing project in Newark. But my mother was determined to continue to move up. This was a stepping stone. This was the break that they needed to save some money. And but she didn't want to let me get caught up in my surroundings or my brother, because we're always meant to keep our eyes on what the possibilities of the world were, and that we should keep going for that. So don't think you're going to just be here.
It's not a destination.
No, this is a pit stop, not a destination. And that's exactly what it was. And we met some good friends, and we learned so much, and lifelong friends, But I admire her so much for always kind of steering us towards whatever she saw in us that was for us. My brother always wanted to be a cop like my father.
Right.
And I much rather play one in a movie on.
Exactly. And you do a really good job of it, by the way.
I'm like, hey, I don't have to go to the academy and really risk my life.
Exactly.
Play one and shoot. Got it. I'm going to go that way. But our parents always encouraged us to dream and do whatever it was, follow our hearts and follow our paths.
How did she parent you in the sense where here you are in a circumstance and an environment where visually it's probably not the best? Did she guide you with one hand over your eyes, not wanting you to see all of the world? Or did she say, look, open up, this is where you don't want to be?
It wasn't so much that this was not where you wanted to be. This was not where you really wanted to be. There were a lot of good people where we were.
Sure.
But at the same time, we were impoverished. We were living below the poverty line. So it was more about how to change those circumstances and change our economic circumstances, but really to hit those books, stay in school, keep working hard. And there are a lot of parents who became single parents like my mom who, there's a lot of us running around in Catholic school uniforms through that project trying to get to school because our parents were sacrificing for our education. Yeah, so it was really about us trying to take that and make it work. And so it just makes me want to kind of pay it forward every time, or at least pay it back.
Right.
Yeah. Because, like I said, there were a lot of good people. We learned a lot. But this was like her trying to. If she could have had us in a house like this with a backyard and a front yard, then that's where we would have been. So she wanted us to know that we could always have those things. Just keep working at it. And she was the example of that. My mother was in college at the same time as working. I mean, we went to college with my mother. There's a janitor that would watch us, while my mother took classes sometimes, because she was trying to get this degree, and then she became the high school teacher. And I got so many brothers and sisters from just people who she just took under her wing in school, and who love her to this day and think of Miss O as their second mom. Oh. So
that's where the queen started.
Yeah, she's the queen. I'm just kind of the good scrap around the side of the tree.
But fast forward, all these years later, here you are, living everyone's dream. I mean, you're there you go, kick back. Your
life's kind of good.
Your mantle is lined with Emmys, with Grammys, with every award under the sun. You've been nominated for an Oscar. I mean, Latifah, you've done a lot since then. A lot. Personally and professionally, by the way.
I'm getting tired just thinking of all that hard work.
Of all that stuff that you've accomplished, what would you say means the most to you of all your achievements?
Of all my achievements?
Personal or professional?
I would say, honestly, to have my family around, to have the love of my family and friends, and to be able to give them love, that's really my greatest achievement. None of those trophies, which is what they are, mean anything if I can't come home and share them with my family, or show them off, to my parents or to my friends, or to the love of my life. If I can't do that, then this is all kind of empty, and being blessed to have the opportunity to bless other people, those are achievements, because that's stuff that goes with you wherever you go. So, I can't always think about what I did in Chicago to get that nomination, or, what I did with Bessie to win an Emmy. But I can see the smile on somebody like her face, who may say, you inspired me with that record when I was a kid. That meant a lot. It changed me in this way. When I run into people in stores and the shopping mall and the gas station, and they're like, my daughter was inspired because you made that record, or because you're a bigger girl and you were a cover girl, or you did this, and gave her confidence. See, that's what means something to me, you know, and that's why I'm hoping, even with, you know, Rise Above HF, that people will feel inspired to, you know, to go to the website and check it out and get some of those tools. And I want them to feel stronger, because I know what we go through, and I know everybody could use a little help and some good information.
Well, somewhere in all of those, you know, somewhere, that's right, somewhere within all those accomplishments, you happen to impress Matt Rogers' dad. So he's here because it's something you did. We'll find out.
I do like my surfboard from the Nickelodeon, you know. Oh, my God. That surfboard's kind of cool. Nice. It's my greatest achievement.
But, you know, and that's why we love you so much, because of what you just said.
Thank you.
Learn more about the American Heart Association's Rise Above Heart Failure movement by going to the information at the bottom of your screen, riseabovehf.org.